Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So a few weeks ago, we asked all of you to comment on Facebook if these morning conversations were valuable. And we received a lot of replies saying, yes, they're valuable. And so we're here today to continue those weekly episodes.
Yeah, 7 million people said they wanted. No?
No.
Oh, okay.
We just a few days ago got back from the Level 2 and Level 3 conference in Switzerland, which was
Very exciting.
very successful, and brand new stuff was brought forth, and it seems like people had a good time.
Well, it was a good time. It was fun. It was great being in Switzerland. We actually had even an additional bonus. We got to spend 2 weeks or 10 days in Italy eating food. That was a really good part. So, and a lot of things were fascinating for me from the standpoint of sometimes it's really important to get out of your environment. You know, just simply get out of your house, get out of your work, get out of the spaces you're doing and stepping into a completely different environment. And in that process, for me, it was relaxing. It was interesting because it got to see from a different perspective. And one of the things that I noticed is we keep talking about stepping into the fifth dimension in a lot of the work that we do. And what became really actually more apparent to me is the fifth dimension is stepping into you. You're beginning to be surrounded by this whole aspect of a level of consciousness. I actually call it a level of wisdom, a level of, call it intelligence or knowing, that is really beginning to surround us. But one of the things that I was also aware of is we do a lot of efforting. You know, we heal ourselves. We, in the vernacular of mastering alchemy, you create and destroy roses, or you call in the eighth ray or the fourth, fifth, sixth ray. You begin to clean yourself in a manner of speaking. And I'm not sure that's the space we want to really continue to focus on. Nothing wrong with clearing out some of these patterns, but the focus that many have is, I've got to fix myself. Mm-hmm. Well, in real terms, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken, you're not hurt. You know, you can step out of those patterns that you're holding onto. And I watched a number of people working on their stuff in this conference space, and it was really fun watching the whole process. But one of the things that I saw was a lot of effort.
People were trying really hard.
I've got to get this, I've got to do it right,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of shoulds in terms of really being positive, but you're working too hard. You know?
And having expectations about what they're supposed to be experiencing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
for example, you would ask, well, how was that for you, that last meditation or piece of work? And people would stand up and share their experience. And then others would judge themselves because, oh, I didn't see red, I didn't hear the angels, they would go into that self-judgment and doubt.
Self-judgment and doubt. That's one of the biggest pieces that, you know, in working with the whole group right up to the point where you start to step into that light body, one of the things that Metatron has said consistently is the last two things that you're going to step out of is doubt and self-judgment. And that's not a failure. It's just simply one of the pieces is the layers of doubt and self-judgment to a great extent are built into the physical body. The physical body is a 3D device.
It's physical.
It's physical, and it has built into its structures that relate to fear and doubt and self-judgment. So this piece that I'm wanting to really start to focus on is efforting. Just know that you're not doing it wrong, but that doubt or that self-judgment a lot of times is in the physical body, it's in the cells, and it will go away, but it's not going to go away to the level that you might think it should go away. You might find yourself working on something and then realizing, gee, I did that, and there it is again. Well, some of that is going to be there. The piece that I'm really interested in starting to talk about more is allowing. We talk about it, we used to talk about it a lot, but allowing, just allow yourself. See, this fifth dimensional space that's beginning to step in and around you, it is full of wisdom and choices and opportunities. One of the real challenges with this new fifth dimensional space, where we particularly were playing in that fourth, fifth, sixth layer of thought in the conference, this fifth, sixth layer of thought, we'll talk about it more, it just allows you to hold out your hand and the apple appears. Well, no, I can't do that. That doesn't work real well. And there's that doubt. And that doubt is that physical body doubt. It doesn't work that way, the physicalness says. But in fact, yes, it does. So the key is if you can just begin to play, begin to get out of the efforting, begin to just allow yourself to enjoy what is really being given to you. It's not metaphorically being given to you, it's being given to you. It's an issue of, can you step out of the way and have it?
So what you're saying is, because this fifth dimension is surrounding us now more than it ever has, we have the opportunity to not do so much clearing and healing and fixing and releasing our stuff, but instead get into a place of allowing and being that greater person we really are. Rather than working so hard to clear it out, just allow it to be in our space.
Yeah, because one of the things that's going to happen, the more you simply say, oops, one of my favorite words, oops, not so much a problem, just well, that didn't work. How else can I do this? In just the simple staying in the how else can I do this, you're going to find lots of answers that are being made available.
So here's an example. Tell me if I've got this right. So on this trip, we're at a hotel, and at night, I go to reach for something on the bedstand, and I hear one of the things I had on the bedstand fall. And it's this tiny thing, and so the next day I'm scrubbing around on the floor, looking for it under the bed, and I can't find it. And so it's time to leave. And at the last moment, as we're walking out the door, I just have this inspiration. I open up the drawer in the bedstand, and there it is.
Yeah, and the drawer, you hadn't used
I hadn't even used the drawer, but something came.
Yeah.
Because I was in that good space, I got the message, just open up that silly drawer.
Yeah, yeah. And so the drawer probably was open, and you got up and just bumped it and closed. So this allowing space is really huge, because it just, if you get quiet, fifth dimension, well-being, cooperation, co-creation, all those words, if you just begin to let the universe work for you, instead of thinking you have to, or I should, or I'm not doing it enough.
Stop digging around on the floor and listen to where that thing is.
So pay attention to yourself and really begin to simply, when something doesn't go right, catch yourself. We'll talk about this again maybe next week or in the next couple weeks. Catch yourself, how you experience it, how you see it, how you judge it, or how you react to it. And to a great extent, the reaction is really old. And it is a habit of application. And that application now is beginning to be made in this fifth dimensional space really a useless application, judging, condemning, beating yourself up. So the message, I guess, is pay attention to the efforting. You don't have to work so hard. And allowing things in the moment to even not work, and allowing things to work, because that's really what's unfolding.
Easy.
So we'll talk about this more, this allowing space, because I think it's going to be made even easier for people if you will allow it. We'll do this again next week.